filed against him and his department over COVID-19 handlings. And Sheriff Nanos has been controversial in January. So according to the Pima County Elections Department, a recall was launched on March 12th for the embattled sheriff. He's, of course, leading the Nancy Guthrie investigation. He's faced pretty harsh criticism for the way that he's handled that, misinformation or information being shared at different times that doesn't align with different interviews and things like that. Daniel Gutierrez, who's also collecting signatures to get on the ballot to run for Congress himself, is behind the recall effort against Nanos. And this effort comes after just days ago that Nanos had to address discrepancies in his work history in terms of the end of his employment with El Paso PD. He also has a lawsuit filed against him from an inmate, filed against him and his department over COVID-19 handlings. And Sheriff Nanos has been controversial in general. He was a sheriff, then he was not. That was an issue. Then he's now back to sheriff. So it's not been just a smooth sailing ride for Nanos even before the Nancy Guthrie investigation. But obviously now there's a hyper fixation, a lot of people, a lot of scrutiny as the world watches this investigation unfold. Gutierrez will have 120 days from March 12th to collect more than 120,000 signatures needed to trigger an actual recall. Those need to be signatures in person, so they can't just blast this out on the internet and ask people to sign it. If enough verified signatures are collected, then a recall election will be held. Here's what we know.
What it do, guys? It's your boy, The Juice. I am live and back again to cover the great old investigation going on in regards to Nancy Grace. I wanted to dive right in, waste no time. Let's talk about Nanos, man. I've been talking about Nanos. If you've been tuning into the stream, you know I've been talking about Nanos a lot lately. Hey, I watched some JLR. JLR went live today. And we got to play some moments in his stream today because there were some interesting things that we definitely got to get on some people's heads about tonight for sure and just talk about in general. It's crazy because I've been talking about the lady that came up and approached JLR in regards to Nanos and him, you know, telling him to go to Nanos' house. Like, why aren't you at Nanos' house? He talks about that today. And it's crazy because, look, I've been saying it. Nanos he's got to go. He's a clown. He's literally a clown. As we all know, there was a recall put in for Nanos. They want this guy out of here. Somebody petitioned. Daniel put the edits petitioned. And he's a Tucson Republican. He's running for Arizona's Deep Blue 7th Congressional District. And he's currently collecting signatures for a potential recall for Nanos. So it's getting real interesting. We'll see if this recall falls through, or let's see if we were able to get enough signatures, in other words. And I don't know what happens after that moving forward if they are able to get enough signatures. But I'm thinking that's, I guess, supposed to get him out pretty much fired for the most part is what I'm kind of getting out of it. But it says they're looking for people to help out. They want to get people involved. They want people to go out, you know, and you know, they want to go out and get signatures. You can have Democrats out there, independents, Republicans. They want people to sign these. They want people to sign as long as they live within the Pima County, you know, area. They are able to sign as well. They want help to get this done, guys. They want help to get it done. So we'll see if they're able to get those signed and get that sheriff up out of office. We'll see if it's possible. They want to get someone in there that we all, you know, as a community feel confident in. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm really feeling it, but we'll see how things play out. But anyway, just a kind of quick recap. I don't think we even need a recap, man. There's no need to recap. We already all know what's going on. We all know Nancy was taken out of her home February 1st after going home January 31st from her daughter's house. You know, after just taking an Uber to her daughter's house, she was dropped off by her daughter's husband, Tommaso, And then obviously, going into that next day, which was January 1st, they realized something was up because Nancy had missed church. Fast forward all the way to now, we still have nothing, we weren't able to dig up anything. We'll kind of talk about a lot of the things that happened in the beginning, which is the reason why they want Nanos up out of there. They want him to go. We'll see if the rest of the world feels the same way. I think I was looking at something earlier, and I was looking at the comments. There's some comments because Casey Dean took to her Facebook and posted where you're able to go, do the signatures. And that's on 2015 west of River, which is probably just 3 minutes out from me, probably 5-6 minutes away from, I would say about 10 minutes away from Nancy's house. 11 to 12 to be exact. So yeah, not too far from Nancy's house. You could go do the petitions. They had, petitions held from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on River Road, River and La Choya Road, and those are the cross streets. And it was a drive-through petition, I believe. Not that really matters, but they're trying to make it as easy as possible. Obviously, they don't even want you to have to get out of your car. Just come down and sign. Let's get this man up out of here. You don't even have to walk anywhere, and it only takes a few seconds to sign that petition. Wow. People are really not playing. And I'm kind of glad this is happening. Anyway, somebody said in one of the comments, it says, everyone's mad about his handling of Guthrie case. Should remember the FBI joined on the investigation and had no better results. I'd argue the FBI did a far worse job. And, let me see y'all can follow what I'm reading here. Some comments under the post that Casey Dean did. And zoom in so y'all can see that. See what I'm reading here. But anyways, they went on to say that everyone's mad about his handling of the Guthrie case. Should remember the FBI joined the investigation and had no better results. I'd argue the FBI did a far worse job by publicly identifying a subject only to have to quickly acknowledge he had nothing to do with it. Not before he and his family suffered through. It's a tough case made worse by all the amateur detectives helping. And I don't know who this guy is. Then Chocolate is the name. But as far as the FBI part, I disagree with that part. I don't think they did a far worse job. And I think anytime that the FBI or anyone really, they need help in an investigation that's going on, one of the sources of help is the public. So I don't really find it. I didn't even switch screens so y'all could see what I was seeing, but there it is. But yeah, one of the sources end up being the public. So I mean, they had to give us some type of information to roll off of, and there could probably be some traumatizing things that they have on footage that they didn't show us, obviously. And I think we all think that. A lot of us do. But I just think that they're doing a far better job than, they're doing more than the sheriffs are. I'm not going to even say a better job, but they're definitely not doing far much worse than the sheriff's department. That's for sure. But it's Nanos' ego that's getting in the way of a lot of things. Remember, the Kunjan Navy wanted to come out here and help do the search. He didn't even want to do that. I just wonder why we're not looking at Nanos and having certain suspicions about Nanos. To me, I almost feel like sometimes that he could be covering up for someone. Maybe they paid Nanos under the table. You just never know nowadays. You just never know. Anyways, that's besides the point. I just wanted to read that for a second. I just feel like Nanos is taking us on a goose trail. You know, he's dumb. He's just really dumb to me. You know, and I think the things that he's doing is kind of showing how much he cares about this case. This guy's going to work out. You know, at one point in the beginning of this investigation, somebody saw him at a basketball game. Not that you shouldn't go, you know, do what you got to do after work, you know. But I guess it just left a bad impression based on, you know, the title that he holds. You know, it did. The things we're seeing is speaking for itself, I think, at this point. I mean, it has been since day one. Anyways, we still got that $1.2 million that's on the line, by the way, and that's still nobody budging off of that. Like I said yesterday, I still feel the same way. We still have no leads at all. Not that we still have no leads. I don't feel like the FBI has any leads whatsoever. I don't feel like they have any leads. But for all we know, you know, they could just be, you know, they could have their guy and they just don't have enough to pin him to it, or it's one of those things where they want to get everything done, you know, to hit them with it, you know. I don't know. Who knows where we stand? The only people that do know where we stand with this investigation really is the FBI. And like I said in the beginning, that's who's driving this train. I don't care what Nanos says, or, you know, I don't care what Nanos is doing. I really don't. I don't think any of us care what Nanos is doing anymore at this point. But like I said, the FBI is driving this train. They're in charge. They're going to be the ones that determine what's going to happen next, or what's really going on in this investigation. From what I heard today was some stuff I really didn't like to hear, or really want to hear, which was really interesting. And Duty Don mentioned it today. And he's talking about Nanos. Let's just play the clip, man. Let's just play the video. It's not even a clip.
Tonight I wanted to ask the question. Do we feel that the Nancy Guthrie abduction case has now gone cold? It's almost 50 days. She was reported on February 1st, 2026, missing by her family, and it is now approaching March 22nd. So we're at a turning point where the investigators are in a task force, 5 detectives, 1 sergeant from Pima County, and whoever the FBI has doing the investigation. So I'd like to get your thoughts. Do you feel that this case is going cold? Because we're not hearing anything about it.
I'm going to just answer that now. Y'all already know how I feel about that. It is cold. It's cold. That's just my belief. I'm not... It's not that I don't have hope that they, you know, could still find Nancy and a miracle can happen. But I got to be honest, it's cold. It's a cold case.
And Sheriff Nanos is facing a lot.
Although, don't quote me on it. That you can't, you know, they still have plenty to roll off of. There's still plenty of time before we really actually consider this a cold case. That's just my opinion.
A lot of pushback from the members of his department. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, Sergeant Aaron Cross from the Pima County Sheriff's Department is going to be joining Ed Wallace and myself, and we're going to discuss this case. We're going to discuss the membership and whether or not they have the ability to recall Sheriff Nanos and get him the hell out of his position. You know, he's an elected official until 2029, and that's not helping find Nancy Guthrie, because he is not a true leader. And I don't say that lightly. It really hurts me to say it, but it is the truth. Sheriff Nanos is a complete buffoon. This is worse than Sheriff Barney Fife. This is worse than anything I've ever seen when it pertains to communication and leadership. This case requires leadership, and it is not clear and evident that anybody is in charge at the helm righting this ship or trying to right this ship. We have a yo-yo effect going on. Tonight, in a few minutes, News 4 Tucson
welcome,
is
Sherry, by
going
the way.
to
Welcome back.
broadcast a special. Here it comes. So they're going to be broadcasting a special edition of Bring Her Home, Nancy Guthrie, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. We're going to watch it together, and we're going to get your reactions to what News 4 Tucson has to say in the latest of this case. We hope that we'll glean some new information, but it really seems like nothing is happening here. Nanos doesn't want the help from the FBI. He doesn't even want help from within his own department, kicking out seasoned detectives who have an extreme amount of knowledge in homicide investigations, transferring those detectives out because of, for one reason or another, just didn't have an agreement.
Last time I checked, there was 5 detectives on this case and 1 leading the way. As far as their experience, I really don't know. That's why I don't know where Duty Don's getting this information. Obviously, he digged a little deeper than, I've gone as far as knowing, who's who. But all I know is there's 5 detectives working on it, I believe. I believe maybe there's 4. And one of the pack is leading the way. And I don't think those are FBI agents. Those are detectives, obviously. But that's pretty much all I know. And they moved to Phoenix, and we learned that they do have more sources in Phoenix, which, I don't know how much that's going to help us crack this case. But they did send people out. So, I guess, the more the better for me as far as who's working on this investigation. I don't know if 5 is more than enough, or, that's just a normal number for investigators that work on cases. I don't know what the normal number is for how many people work on a case at a time amongst the investigators. So, but I don't know, man. I don't know about this guy Nanos, but I just can't believe we got inexperienced, not even inexperienced, rookie detectives. But I don't know. Is 2 years not, is that not good enough for people to be comfortable with an investigator? I don't know. I feel like 2 years isn't bad to have under your belt, Although, yeah, I think all of us would rather have a veteran, though, that's for sure. I don't know. It just don't sound that bad to me.
Misunderstandings or disagreements with those said detectives, and put rookie detectives in. We heard from Sergeant Cross the last time he visited us that the lead detective on this case had under 5 years on the job. As a matter of fact, he said he only had 2 years. How do you put a 2-year detective that has been in homicide for only 2 years on a case like this? It just blows my mind. Let me know what you think in the chat. If you think that I'm off base, please let me know. If you're with me, put a 1 in the chat. This is a circus show. This is a circus show like I've never seen before. And as it pertains to how this case is handled with letting the crime scene go, first and foremost, early on, that was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was not reaching out for help early on in this case. He knew he was above his head. He was above water. He wasn't able to tread water. And he failed to reach out to the FBI because of his past experiences, his past biases. His biases with the FBI hurt Savannah Guthrie and her sister Annie and her brother, and more importantly, Nancy Guthrie. So it's just a shit show. We're going to watch the News 4 Tucson special, and then after it's over, I'm going to join you, and I believe Ed Wallace will be here, and we'll go over this, and we will give you our reactions to what News 4 Tucson is reporting on the latest of this case. Let us know where you're watching, city, state. whatever country you're watching, let us know. And we would love to acknowledge and give a shout out to all of our frequent flyers who watch us. And thank you to the replay viewers, the super chatters, the folks who leave us buy me cups of coffee. We appreciate tremendously everything that you guys do on this channel. Hello from Boston. Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, reminds me of this is worse than the Idaho 4. This is worse. This is way worse than the Idaho 4. Hello from Houston, Texas. Good to see you. Hi, Beamer. Hi, Lexi. Cheryl, good to see you. Sheriff bragged about it being so close to the family, so they wouldn't suspect him. Yeah, I swear him and brother-in-law is involved. Just your opinion, and everyone's got one. Everyone's got an opinion on this case. That's all we're left with is opinions, because we really have nothing coming out of the Pima County Sheriff's Department. In another minute or so, this live premiere will be airing on News 4 Tucson. You could go on to their YouTube channel, or you can go over to their website and watch it. But I'm going to watch it live with you guys. Hello from New Zealand. Kia ora. Good to see you. Thank you, Curious Kiwi. Great to have you in the house. Thank you. Hi, LMS. Good to see you, Laura. Thank you for joining. Hey, Sarasota. How's it going? Good to see you from New Jersey. Thank you for joining. Appreciate everybody being here. So let's watch this together, and then we will let's talk about it. And maybe I'll take a couple of live call-ins if you guys are up to it on a Saturday night. We can maybe have a little bit of a community board meeting, if you will. We can have a little round table. So it's always good to try to hear and listen to what everybody has to say. I see all the different places checking in. Great to see everybody. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Wow. UK. It's got to be late in the UK, South Wales. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. All right. Here we go. This is going to be News 4 Tucson. Let's watch it together and let's break it down.
Continues. Our community and the nation are rallying around her family to share messages of love and hope.
Let me know if the volume's okay.
Start of this, it was just heart-wrenching just hearing about this.
Nothing really like this ever happens around here, so we're all praying.
A community united with one plea: bring her home.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight for our special program, Bring Her Home, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. I'm Sean Mooney.
And I'm Monica Garcia. We are 6 weeks into this deeply troubling mystery. Investigators say 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, was taken from her home in the middle of the night. The case continues to shake our community and grip the nation.
Tonight, there are still no answers, no arrests.
That was me. Sorry.
No motive and no sign of Nancy.
Its sources close to the case tell us investigators aren't any closer to solving it. Nancy's daughter, Savannah, again on behalf of the family, reiterating an urgent plea for your help.
To bring her home.
If you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home. Please be the light in the dark.
And a light in the dark is just what this case needs. Let's start by taking you back to the beginning. Nancy was last seen the night of January 31st at her home near Skyline in Campbell. She was dropped off there by her son-in-law at 9:48 p.m. after having dinner with family. By midday Sunday, Nancy didn't show up to watch church service at a friend's home. Her friend called Nancy's oldest daughter, who called 911. What began as a missing persons search quickly turned into one of the most complex investigations our country has seen in years.
The Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has given many interviews on the case, but this interview is a bit different. He takes us back to what he remembers about that day when she went missing, shares what's happened since, and has a message for the person or people who took her.
It started with a call.
Take me back to the night of Sunday, January 31st. When did you get the call that Nancy was missing?
My team had notified me of a missing person Search and rescue was searching the area.
And we begin tonight with breaking news. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is looking for a missing woman tonight. Good evening.
And there were some concerns with what they were seeing at the scene.
And Skyline is where we are.
Investigators confirmed the missing woman was Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, a name recognized across the country and deeply rooted in the Tucson community.
I don't even know that I knew it was the Guthrie family until probably closer to 6, 7 o'clock that evening.
Bullshit.
The mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie.
Within hours, the investigation was expanding with the eyes of the nation watching.
FBI.
I got to stop that for a second. Here's another bullshit, and I'm sorry to curse, guys.
Tell him, Don.
I apologize. I know a lot of you guys don't like cursing.
Nah,
for that
add that
sheriff
in there
to say that he did not know that that was Nancy Guthrie's residence, that is utter bullshit. That is the furthest from the truth, because in the Catalina foothills, those sectors and those patrol officers, the sheriffs that are out there, they know the residents, they know who's there, and they reported back to him. I'm gonna put Sergeant Aaron Cross on the I'm gonna put him on the spot tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. He's gonna be joining us. I love the guy. He's a fellow brother in blue, but I'm gonna present that question to him. Is there a chance that Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos did not know that that was Nancy Guthrie and Savannah Guthrie's daughter, mother? I guarantee you he's going to laugh.
It was plugged in that Sunday. Monday morning, we got to even know that.
And Skyline is
I think somebody in the chat just said that Tommaso and Nanos are gambling buddies. Chase, what up? Big welcomes, by the way. What up, YG? Welcome. Yeah, this is. I agree. Chase says this is the strangest case ever. It is, but it's. I just feel like it could be anybody could be the suspect at this point. I mean, this could have a crazy ending, you know, or it could have a very simple one. You know, because I think a lot of us are overthinking this too, but at the same time, we might not be. There's also chances that the people that we have stumbled across that were potential suspects, we could have missed. Like this is just everywhere. It's just everywhere, and it's super confusing, and it's really just easy to overthink this case. Easy, just because everything that's gone on. Just even from, and the saddest part about it is, we can't even trust the person investigating this thing. We can't even trust Sheriff Nanos. We don't even know what to expect. This guy, it's like almost like, I don't even know how he became a sheriff. I really don't. I don't even know how he made it that far. I mean, it kind of goes to show anything's possible, and you could do it too. I mean, if Sheriff Nanos could do it, you could do it. Because I don't even know what this guy's doing. It's like he forgot what he does. And the saddest part is he's been sitting here lying under oath. I don't know. I can't do this guy no more. I can't trust him.
Where we are.
Investigators confirmed the missing woman was Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, a name recognized across the country and deeply rooted in the Tucson community.
I don't even know that I knew it was the Guthrie family until probably closer to 6, 7 o'clock that evening.
Miss Guthrie is the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie.
Within hours, the investigation was expanding with the eyes of the nation watching.
FBI was plugged in that Sunday. Monday morning, we got a quick briefing. They had processed the scene, and we knew we needed some help.
After the public appeal,
we do in fact have a crime scene. That we do in fact have a crime.
Area right outside of Nancy Guthrie's house.
Came press conferences, drawing hundreds of reporters.
We are aware of a ransom letter that was sent to the local media.
A tip hotline was created.
I thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom.
Billboards went up in several states, but the decision to clear the crime scene, followed by renewed searches in the weeks after, has drawn criticism.
A major focus all of a sudden on the house again.
Though Sheriff Chris Nanos says he stands by the work of his investigators.
Sheriff, looking back at this past month in the investigation, did it go the way
you wanted it to go?
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing. I think somebody said, well, Sheriff, did you regret this? Look, I have no regrets about my team and their efforts. I don't regret we let the crime scene go too soon or any of that. That's just silly.
New FBI recovery.
Then
I mean, I have to stop it. And I'm doing this purposely because I have to point out the bullshit here. There is no way in hell that a 40-year veteran could say straight into the camera that letting that crime scene go after day 2, on day 2, not after day 2, on day 2, that crime scene was let go. Brian Enton and many other people, Amazon delivery people, pizza delivery guys, all different people were able to walk straight up that doorway, up that walkway where the blood was. It's just outrageous. It's outrageous to hear him say that. And that was a new interview. Monica Garcia asked him how he felt looking back at it. Do you have any regrets? And he said no. We saw Sergeant Cross laugh when we asked him that question. We saw him literally laugh under his breath. That's a true professional, 26-year veteran of the Pima County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Aaron Cross.
Doesn't
he knows
seem like
his
it.
stuff. And when we asked him the question, he muttered a laugh under his breath. And he's a true gentleman.
10 days later, the biggest break in
sudden on the house again.
We are aware of a ransom letter that was sent to the local media.
A tip hotline was created.
I thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom.
Billboards went up in several states, but the decision to clear the crime scene, followed by renewed searches in the weeks after, has drawn criticism.
A major focus all of a sudden on the house again.
Though Sheriff Chris Nanos says he stands by the work of his investigators.
Sheriff, looking back at this past month in the investigation, did it go the way you wanted it to go?
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing. I think somebody said, well, Sheriff, did you regret this? Look, I have no regrets about my team and their efforts. I don't regret.
Yeah, he definitely knew whose house he was at, for sure.
Or any of that. That's just silly.
New FBI recovery.
Then 10 days later, the biggest break in the case, doorbell video released showing a suspect
with what appears to be a gun at Nancy Guthrie's home the night of her disappearance.
Today, it remains one of the key pieces of evidence investigators are still leaning on. But it's not the only evidence detectives are analyzing.
Cell phone data, pings, cameras. I mean, how much are you guys
Nana and is it Nene? Let me know if I said that wrong. Big welcomes, by the way. Nana says the sit-down interview where Nanos was spilling his guts is gone. Nanos changed everything he said. Wow. I wonder if I knew the title of the video, I would try to find it. I don't know what video you're talking about, though. Jay says it also seems like there's a lot of pushback when people want to help search. I don't understand. Many groups have offered to help. Very odd. Yeah, they even came and detained. Remember the 2 Hispanic ladies that came and started digging kind of outside of Nancy's home? Well, really right outside of Nancy's home. They got detained. I think they made one of the neighbors upset, and they had called the police on the 2 Hispanic ladies. But yeah, they were pretty much kicked up out of here. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we had the Kunjan Navy try to come and help out, but they needed Danos' permission to, come in with all their fancy tools and stuff to start this search. But I don't think they were able to get that. So I think later on down the line, they volunteered. But I don't think they still came out and did anything, I think the only way they would have been able to is actually just getting that approval from Nanos. So, yeah, but anyways, that's not going to happen. So thanks to Nanos. That's why I say it's almost like I'm starting to wonder if Nanos is covering something up, because why wouldn't you use every source that we have? Why not? What is it going to affect the case by having, the Cajun Navy come out and do a search? You know, we watched the video yesterday, where they were talking about an abandoned house just down the way. Or I guess they referred to it as vacant, you know, meaning that, you know, there's somebody that lives there, but they're just not there, and they're living another place for right now. People in Arizona only come here during the wintertime when it's, you know, cold on the East Coast. You know, I think that's what a lot of the people in the foothills do. At least being a local, that's what I've observed growing up here in Tucson. In Arizona, period. I think he's covering up from day one. Yeah, he's got to be covering something. I mean, because you're not gonna just ignore all of the help. So that's why I said, why aren't we investigating Nanos? Why aren't we seeing what's up? You know, we can't just look past this guy. You know, I get that he's the head of this thing, but you never know the person that's in charge, or the person you wouldn't think could have something to do with this, is right in front of you sometimes. So I mean, that's a scary thing. I don't know. This case is just everywhere. I really don't know what to think anymore. I don't know how to feel about this. I've said this like weeks ago. I don't even know how to feel anymore. I really just don't feel like that. I feel like it's just going to be one of them cases that go quiet after a certain amount of time, you know. That's why we got to keep trying to push things to happen. It's like we're pushing things to happen. It's like I don't even feel like they're pushing as hard as we are as a community for something to happen. As far as us, you know, finding Nancy, I think we're all overwhelmed enough to just come, you know, we just want to find Nancy, dead or alive. At this point, we're already convinced that she's gone, and we just want to bring her home. And, you know, we just want to be at peace with this thing. We want there to be an ending. We want to find this guy who took Nancy.
Leading into that information, that evidence.
You know, it could be a cell tower dump, could be.
Yeah, Chase, I'm starting to feel that way too. Chase says he doesn't think they'll ever find her. There's also, I don't know. You never know though. She, you know, because it's very interesting when people say Nancy may be 2.5 miles or around 2.5 miles away from her home. They think she's close. You know, it's hard not to like wonder, you know, maybe, wow, you know, maybe she could be. And then we got other people who are like, nah, she's far, far away. She's, you know, nowhere near her house. You know, I think a lot of people think she was taken to Mexico as well. It's hard to kind of pick what you believe sometimes, you know, because you don't know what to believe. You know, but you have to think to yourself, like, what sounds more logical, you know? And then you also have to, well, I'm not a kidnapper, but if I was, you know, abducting somebody, I think the only place for me to feel like I'm not going to get caught and I'm going to get away with it is taking that person to another country. And that only other country that I could get to from here is Mexico. So, I don't know. I feel like the perp was definitely paid off for sure. I think that's the reason why we're not getting any buzz on that $1 million reward. I feel like these guys, you know, for all we know, it could have been somebody very, very well off, and they paid these guys to do a job. And they were paid good. They were paid good. But I think a lot of us also wonder whether or not the perp did it by himself, only simply because a lot of times when there's more than one person is more likely to snitch. You know, so the crazy part about it is we just haven't had anybody come forward. But I think a lot of us are just so eager to see, to want for, you know, we just really want something to happen. We really want something to happen, and we want it to happen now, today. Right now. But we definitely do got to be patient here. We got to be patient. because I've seen certain crime investigations that have went on certain crime stories I've watched, and I've seen some of them go over 100 days before they figure out what happened to a person that's missing that ends up dead. So, yeah. I think a lot of us we're just getting impatient at this point. And we just want to know, really most importantly, we really just want to know that they're moving in a direction that leads up to finding Nancy. I think that's the biggest goal. And I think that's going to comfort us with this whole investigation, is just knowing that investigators are moving forward. That's it. That would comfort me. As long as I know they're moving forward with this thing, and it's stuff is about to really come to light real soon. We're gonna find our perp. Man, I think I'm gonna get goosebumps when we find our perp, because it's like the boogeyman. I'm gonna be just out of my chair, like I'm not gonna be able to believe it if we find the perp. That's how likely I feel that they're to find the perp and find Nancy. I'm jumping out my seat if we find this guy who took Nancy.
Analyzing a cell phone.
So there is still digital evidence that you guys are waiting on to receive.
Well, we're analyzing all the time, yes.
The sheriff says investigators have gathered a lot of information. They're just not able to share much of it publicly right now. If you could talk directly to the person who took Nancy, what is your message?
Give her up. Let her go. Just let her go. Just take her to a clinic, a hospital. Drop her off. Just let her go.
And you've seen these photos.
Boy, that was reassuring. Just let her go.
Yeah.
Just let her go. Drop her off at a hospital, a police station, a
This guy's
fire
an
station.
idiot.
Was before. This is the person that Sheriff Nanos is referring to. The FBI released these stills obtained from Nancy's Ring camera of a masked suspect at her front door. They believe this individual is a man between 5'9" and 5'10". You can see he's wearing gloves
handsome,
and a
big
ski
welcome, yeah.
mask,
Welcome
carrying
back.
a black Ozark Trail hiker pack, and has what appears to be a gun on his waistband. Take another good look at these shots. If you have any information, reach out immediately.
Yeah, I agree, Chase. This guy's had a long shot of a head start by a mile, by miles. I mean, Jesus. He's had so much time to cover more stuff up, as far as, getting rid of that body. He's had so much time. So much time. I don't see them finding this guy at this point. And I'm not saying give up. No, never give up. We really want Nancy to, we want to find Nancy no matter what. But it just seems like it's 10 times harder now to find this guy. It's going to be 10 times harder based on everything that happened. From what I'm hearing, even that blood that they saw on the front porch is something that might not even be able to be used against the perp in court, because I don't know. Somehow that may be possible because of due to the fact of people pretty much interfering with the crime scene, not really knowing that there was blood there. But I don't know. I don't know anything about that, so I'm not even going to touch up on that. But this is crazy, guys. This is just crazy. I don't know how to feel no more. I really don't. This is bothering. It really is. We gotta throw on some JLR here.
About the evidence, the tips, and the rewards, all focused on finding Nancy. But we don't think you've heard enough about who Nancy Guthrie is. News for Tucson's Andrew Capasso sat down with some of the people who worked with Nancy and want you to know the impact she's had in our community.
Hey, folks, before we hear about this, I'm just pausing it for a moment. We know for a fact that the Uber driver who drove her to her daughter's home that night, all of the Ubers in the United States are required to have in car, in vehicle, dash cams, not only going forward for safety reasons, but also into the cabin of the vehicle, into the back passenger area. So there's definitely footage of her being dropped at for that car ride, probably the entire part of that vehicle ride from her home, which was just a short distance to her daughter's. But you know, what's interesting about this is we talk about the potential for any workers at the house, the roofing guys, people who were in close contact with her as potential suspects. But when you look at it, you know, when you look at a roofing guy or just a person who had knowledge that this was a woman who lived alone, 84 years old, what's the upside? What did they take from the home? Was there valuables stolen? Was there jewelry? Was there artwork stolen? Was there anything of value taken from that home to make it worthwhile for the individual that did this? So in my eyes, as a detective, I say to myself, if Pima County Sheriff's Department is not willing to share that A, there was forced entry, or B, there wasn't forced entry, or C, that there was items taken from the home, or cash or valuables and jewelry taken, then we could say, you know what, this was a robbery, home burglary. They took items and they left. And when she confronted them, instead of leaving, they either took her or killed her or whatever the case may be. But that's not being, that information is not being given.
I don't even know why a burglary is
for
a discussion anymore. It's not a burglary at all whatsoever. This is targeted. I don't know what would even lead anybody to believe it's a burglary, because they're trying to determine whether or not it was a burglary. Whether or not it's a burglary or not, and it's not. It's not, okay, because there was nothing taken. So that, I think that determines the fact of what it actually was. She's 84 years old. You don't think that for me, well, let's just say I'm the perp, and ideally the perp is, let's just say the perp is 45 years old. You don't think somebody 45 could take an old lady that's 84? I don't think she had a gun, you know. I don't think she would have been that hard to restrain due to the fact of her disabilities, you know, her being her age, you know. I don't think I would have a hard time, and I'm just being real, because I don't think anyone's really considered this, but I don't think, what possibly, give me an idea, because I could be overthinking this. I could. Give me an idea. What would be hard? What would make an 84-year-old hard to deal with physically if I was to, you know, need to restrain an 84-year-old, you know? What could have went wrong if my intent was to go in there and, you know, rob the place, take what I need, you know? What would have stopped me, especially if there were me and another person? Oh God, if there was me and another person, what would stop me from being able to tie Nancy up? Not only that, not only that, another thing that takes away from this being a robbery or a burglary is due to the fact of the backpack. When we're looking at the bag is full. So that automatically, to me, eliminates the fact that it's a robbery or a burglary. You know, there's just no way. There's no way at all that, you know, this was a burglary.
Probably good reason, but maybe not for good reason. I don't know. But at the end of the day, everybody's left to speculate. And that's all that we have is speculation. And everybody is saying, oh, possibly this one did it, possibly this one did it, a family member, this or that and the other. And it's really because there's no information. We don't even know you know how entry was made into the home. You know, open doors, we heard residents talk about, we never lock our doors here in Tucson in the Catalina foothills.
I mentioned that yesterday.
We leave our doors open. We don't lock them. We heard senior citizens say that on camera. We never lock our doors. So maybe this perp or perps were able to just walk right in. So Interesting, but that's where we're at.
A big part of Nancy Guthrie's life in Southern Arizona is anchored right here at the University of Arizona. From literally helping save thousands of lives over the decades to helping students in the communication industry.
I don't know. It's like when somebody dies, you know how the saddest part to me, I have always hated this. I think a lot of us do. People talk highly of someone when they die, not when they're, presently here alive. And I'm only saying this because a lot of people are talking highly of Savannah like she's so famous here. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I've never heard of Savannah Guthrie in my life until now. So she can't be that damn famous. And as far as her being really a superstar here in Tucson, she is now. She is now. But prior to this, I don't think she was a superstar here. Not from being on the Today Show. Sorry, I've never heard of her until now, and I'm a local here in Tucson. So, and I guess maybe a lot of us don't even pay much attention to someone, doing the casting on the news's name unless they're really distinctive. I feel like she just fits into me. She's not all that distinctive. I guess now getting to know her, she is now, and, because this case brought me more attention to, paying more attention to Savannah. But I just wouldn't say she's famous here just because she's on a really big platform.
I always think about Nancy as this quiet leader who was so effective without ever working at it. That's just the way she is.
Former Professor Jacqueline Sharkey worked with Nancy for decades.
Right, I agree, Joanne. Her cell phone as well. Yes.
Okay.
She always has had superb communication skills, and she used those to help lead a couple of very important public health and education initiatives that we worked on together.
One project the two worked on, saving the Poison Information Center at the U of A. The place on the chopping block due to budget cuts. Sharkey says Guthrie got right to work.
Gathered more than 20,000 signatures that were delivered to the governor, and the Poison Center was saved.
She says while the work was not easy.
This is in the pre-internet days. So we're talking about brochures and fact sheets and petitions that a small group of people took all over the state.
The impact of that work continues today.
Thousands of Arizonans have benefited from the Poison Center in the 30 years since Nancy had a major role in leading it.
That impact is something Dave Coulier says he's also experienced. He worked with Nancy on the School of Journalism's Advisory Council.
She's a huge champion of journalism and the University of Arizona. She was looking out for everybody, all the graduates of the program, and frankly, of the whole university.
He says Guthrie put passion into every project she touched.
There are a lot of people who wanted to get involved for resume builders, or certain ego trips and that sort of thing, but not Nancy. She had a quiet power. I mean, she wasn't the loud, talkative person in the room. She was the thoughtful person who provided input when it was needed.
Now, as the tribute to Guthrie grows outside her home, Sharkey says she is not surprised.
It's all a sign of how much Nancy means to us and the enormous impact she had on the community and on our lives.
An impact she says everyone from her Catalina Foothills neighborhood to the U of A and beyond can all learn from.
She's a role model for how to live a life filled with meaning.
And one other thing Sharkey told me, for Nancy, she says it has never been about the credit, but always about the people. Sharkey says that selflessness is precisely why Nancy's impact is felt so deeply across Tucson today. Reporting at the University of Arizona, I'm Andrew Capasso, News 4 Tucson.
And after hearing that story, it is easy to understand why Nancy's sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through our community.
3 days after she went missing, Nancy's daughter, Savannah, turned to social media asking everyone to pray. So that's just what Tucson did.
Most merciful God, we pray for our sister Nancy.
We needed a place to come together. And so a vigil popped into my head, and I know both Nancy and Savannah are very faithful. And I just feel like even if people don't pray, I feel like people want to do something. And if they can come together and share hugs and share stories, then that might make it a little easier.
Sally Shamrell helped organize the vigil. She says she met Nancy through her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, when the two were both young journalists at KBOA 30 years ago.
Welcome all of you who have come from the wider community for this vigil, for this time of prayer for Nancy.
Lupita Murillo is another former colleague who wanted to do something to send a message to the family that they weren't alone.
How nice of them to do
Coming
that.
together was the way to do it.
All right.
Holding a vigil.
We're gonna move along here. I wanna talk about a couple things that I discovered on JLR's. He went to his live today, and I thought it was really interesting because I've been talking about the old lady that walked up to Nanos, walked up to JLR, telling him that he should be at Nanos' house. So I thought it was interesting that JLR brought it up today. But there was a lady that gave him a phone call and was saying some really, really silly stuff. And this is what I've been talking about as far as people putting stuff out there that shouldn't be put out there. And it really pissed me off. But let's play this here.
Now listen, did you see this? Now watch this.
I wonder if I saw that one.
All right, watch this.
You should be at Sheriff Nanos' house.
What's going on?
Nothing. It's just about a week ago, they were all suited up in their gear at Nanos' house. You're totally at the wrong place. This is a moot point now.
So you think someone should go to Nanos?
Yeah,
Why
what's
Nanos'
the matter
house?
with you guys?
Yeah, well, this is a moot point. Jesus.
You're at the wrong house. You should be at Sheriff Nanos' house.
Talk to us about Nanos. What's going on?
Nothing.
Wow.
It's just about a week ago, they were all suited up in their gear at Nanos' house. You're totally at the wrong place. This is a moot point now.
So you think someone should go to Nanos?
Yeah,
Why
what's the
Nanos'
matter
house?
with you guys?
Why Nanos' house? You said Nanos.
Because I said.
Because I said. And then
Because I said so.
because if you put me on YouTube, I'm going to sue you or something crazy. I guess that's a woman.
I will, and we won't be here.
Okay, God bless you.
I love it. God bless you. Takes off.
I don't think it's the same woman. I don't think it is. There must be another one. But that's what people are dealing with, the neighbor. God bless the neighbors, though. Wish all the neighbors were like you.
To
So
me,
I guess
this
the neighbor
is,
had
you know,
pulled
they-
up and had something
to me,
to
the
say.
more.
She what? What do you mean?
Where is she?
Nancy's missing. Away from here? How do you know this? So where is she? And you know this for a fact, right?
How do you know it?
Be realistic, ma'am. I'm sorry for yelling at you, but be realistic.
I'm not. In front of your house. All right. It's very upsetting. We are upset about this. We're here every day.
Yeah, you should be more upset about the woman that was abducted from her own house. That's what you should be more concerned about instead of worrying about us. This is all about you now. You know what I'm saying? It's all about okay, but I don't care what that says. I really don't care what that says. I really don't care.
And it's just you guys. Everybody
Can't really
else
see
are
her
very
face.
nice. Very nice. They come here, they spend time reading and looking at.
And we're not going to be.
I know. How come you?
That's what happens when someone's missing for this long. That's all.
The FBI the video now. That
Didn't you move in January, right?
you don't have a video camera like this?
There's a sign out there. There's a sign out in front of your house that says you have security. How could you lie to us?
Okay, so you're making things
stuff. No, you have ADT or whatever camera thing in front of your house. There's no camera. Okay. Fair enough.
That's a dumb thing
That
to
looks
say.
like Nancy's car.
Dude, that was crazy though. Like okay, I understand a neighbor would come up and say, "Hey, get out of here. We don't like you here." We've heard that, right? Get out of here. But this lady actually said she's buried, and she's buried far away from here. She's not here.
That's an awful thing to say. First off, it's
That looked just like Nancy's car.
I don't know. I think it was the same lady that was telling me I'm at the wrong house and I should be at Nanos' house, and
Nanos' house. That'd be good though.
He's like, she comes up, and I should get that clip. She was like, she just comes up, and I'm just minding my business. She comes right behind me and just starts yelling like she wasn't yelling, but like, I don't know. She's a little bit aggressive. Like, you're at the wrong house, dude. You should be at his house, Nanos' house. I'm like, what? Oh, did you get a lot of buyers?
Yeah, we got rid of a couple of years ago. We're starting.
So he starts taking calls here.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Hello.
I think it was Melissa. I don't know who Melissa is. I hope she's not here because she's going to be mad. But Melissa, you are absolutely dumb, okay? Listen to what Melissa has to say.
Hello.
Melissa. No, I'm keeping it real.
Hi, Melissa.
I'm keeping it real. I'm sorry. I'm keeping it real. There's some things that people are just throwing out there they should not be throwing out there.
So,
hi, how are you?
I'm just gonna make it short to sum it up. Melissa thinks the perp is black.
Oh yeah, she's dumb.
Okay, she thinks the perp is black. Oh my God, what is wrong with people?
Doing great, Melissa. Where are you from?
Pennsylvania. You know me.
Oh, you're from Westchester, Pennsylvania. That's my hometown. So we had a conversation before. Yes, I know exactly who you are. I sent you the link. Yes.
Oh,
and
we're really lagging.
I could.
Oh man, you sent McDonald's. And
the healthy drinks. Nice chest. The FBI checked out.
Nice. How's it in Westchester, Pennsylvania?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Nice. What's on your mind?
It's lagging like by a minute.
Sure. But just say what's on your mind. What's going on? What do you have to say about this case? Your take thus far on day 49 into this.
I get it, but come on, man. There's certain characteristics that a black man has and certain characteristics that a white man has as well. I get it, it's black and white, but you can clearly tell that's not an African American, nor is it a half mixed African American with black, white, or Mexican. He's not mixed with black, okay? There's no black at all in that suspect. Or perp, whatever you want to refer to the guy we saw in front of Nancy's home on video. No way in hell that the guy has any black in him, not even a percentage.
We're about to listen to Nanos and maybe the Guthrie family speak a message. What's your take?
You can tell JLR is just not buying it.
What's going on? Maybe what you should do is maybe have your phone, use your phone. It usually end up better.
Really?
Yeah, call back in on your phone. Like, use the phone as a link.
Okay.
All right, see you soon. That's Melissa. She's from my hometown.
You got a lot of Pennsylvania viewers.
We got viewers everywhere. Like, if you just say right now, where's everyone from? People are going to drop. Watch this. Where's everyone from? Where is everyone from? Share your location. We'd love to hear and see your location. All right, Melissa might be back. Is that better? Does it work?
Okay.
Hello. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Hi, does it work?
I'm hearing you over my computer, and I'm looking at my phone.
Okay. Now that's better, right? So we're not on the lag. We're good?
No, we're not good. But just go ahead.
Oh no.
Goodness.
Oh no.
No, we are.
I'm gonna
You're normal here.
Yeah, we're good here. Sometimes you gotta do a little adjusting, but look at all these towns.
Yeah, jeez.
There's people everywhere. It's not just Tucson.
No, everywhere.
How's
Around the
the
world.
weather getting hot in Tucson right now?
My truck said it was 114 today, but that's probably because it was just sitting there baking. It had to be it had to be over 100 today.
Let me split this up a little
You
bit.
said, feel like we're in each other's living rooms. I've been watching you now for 40, is it 49?
49 days. Some say
God.
48, 49.
Oh, boy.
The day you count. So I'm calling it day 49.
Yeah.
Too long.
Oh, boy. Well, I love OJ, I have to say, but I won't waste anyone's time. But I've been watching OJ. I'm a total animal lover. And I've got all my little rescues around me.
Nice.
And my little one doggy, my little poodle, was diagnosed with brain cancer last week. So do you think the chat could say a prayer for my little Sally?
Oh my God.
Prayer for Sally.
Oh yeah.
Prayer for Sally, so she doesn't suffer. She's so precious. She's been watching you with me. So they all have. I sent the pit bull was up at the TV with you when the dogs were walking one night, and she was watching. It was so cute. But okay. So I didn't even look at anything last time because I know I get a lot of hate mail if I talk about a medium. So I didn't look, and I'm not going to look again tonight. But it's so bad that if this could help at all, I don't care.
I can't even believe this lady was.
information.
I can't
Now,
even believe she
again-
was thinking about turning this into the FBI.
And this was two top people sitting side by side.
Mm-hmm.
And they were both getting the same information coming into them. And I feel very confident that they were getting real information because they were going, oh my God, no. And they were saying it at the same time and they were on a split screen. They weren't even in the same place. So, okay. So I mentioned to you last time that they feel he is split ethnicity and part African American.
That's what you think.
Yes. Now, they confirmed that again. Okay. Now, this person, and when I looked at the person with the fence photo today that you were talking to, that you had up, I think that gentleman could look half African American. I don't know if he has anything to do with this or not, but my husband and I were looking at him that night and we were like, that's really suspicious. There's another dude in the middle of the night with a backpack.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the picture of the backpack guy.
Yeah, it was weird.
So when he's not, the picture where he's not wearing his backpack, there was one. This one seems to be chopped a little bit. There's more to the left, and it looked like somebody was looking.
I'm telling you right now, if you think the perp, this is exactly why we're not going to find this guy right here. Just to sum it up, this is exactly why we're not going to find the perp. Because people like this are saying random crazy things like the perp is black. Come on now, are you kidding me? Let me zoom in a little bit here. And I think there's a better picture than this of that side view of the perp. And I get it, it's in black and white, so it's really, it's really harder to justify his nationality when it's in black and white. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know the characteristics of a black man. I know certain things black men have to indicate, whether or not he's a mixed breed or he's black. Come on now, for real. There's no way that perp is black whatsoever. Even just the way certain black men walk. Not to even get into race, but Jesus Christ, I can't believe this lady really thinks the perp is black or mixed with black. That was one thing, and I'm not going to lie, because a lot of the times that I'm sure burglaries are committed, it's probably a black person. If not somebody Hispanic. As far as black people in prison, that percentage is very high. So, that tells it all as far as what race is committing a lot of the crime out here. And I think that was one thing I was happy about in this investigation was the fact that well, at least for this particular suspect, because there may be more than one, wasn't black. I don't think there was any African Americans involved in this at all. Not at all. This lady is crazy.
They were trying to kind of hide behind, but they wanted to see what he was looking at.
Yeah, I'm looking for the photo now. I had a bunch of screenshots here. I just didn't mark them right. See if I can find this here.
She says there were definitely 3 people in total involved, but only one. So there was one half African American and then 2 Hispanics. And the one half African American man is that one at the door, and also he's the one who went inside alone.
Well, what makes you think he's half African American?
She's getting this directly from Nancy, and this show called Channeling Eric was started by a medical doctor whose son ended his life, and he was communicating a lot. So he then started communicating down with other people. So then she closed her practice for no profit just to do this so that they can communicate with people, and the son always joins in. So if the person's having trouble communicating, he'll help them. So his name's Eric. So Eric and Nancy were both communicating with these 2 mediums. And I know it sounds crazy, but we do have a heaven and an earth, right? So, and they're, our souls are connected. So there are some people that are born with a gift. We all have different gifts. So I believe in good mediums. Now, watching this, I have no doubt that they were hearing what they were hearing because they were both getting the information. Nancy confirmed that this gentleman, Nancy herself said he was half African American. Haven't I heard you say that you felt he might look half African American a little bit?
I think he looks Latino.
Okay.
You see how she tried to throw JLR in there and make him a part of her her theory, her speculation. Oh my goodness.
I think he looks Latino.
So, haven't I heard you say that you felt he might look half African American a little bit?
I think he looks Latino.
Okay.
I think he looks Latino.
He could be half Latino, half African American.
Now his family, this is interesting. He has family in Africa, Southern California, and Arizona.
But
so that
you're
does
getting
make sense, what you just said.
You're getting this information off of Medium, correct?
Correct. Well, through Nancy and the boy Eric, who does every reading with them.
Who is
I'm sorry?
Eric.
Eric is the doctor who started this channel, medical doctor, whose son ended his life and kept communicating constantly with her. And now she stopped her practice to do this show because she wants to be able to help people, because he comes through so clearly and he comes through with the people they're reading. So he was there with Nancy as he is with the people they read. And they only do like criminal cases and famous cases and things like this. And to try to get a reading with these people is like 4 or 5 years. They're so good, and everyone wants to get in a reading with them. So you really can't get a private one unless you wait for years. But so them doing this was very fascinating. Now, I sent you the map today. I don't know if you saw the text of Nancy showed her how they took her out. Did you get the red line map? Or would you like me to send it again?
You can resend it. But we got like 4 or 5 people in the pipeline.
JLR wants to get her out of here already. He said, we got 4 or 5 people in the pipeline, yeah. Oh man.
Well, I will go quicker then. Okay, so it's all.
Oh my goodness. I will go quicker then. It's only going to take 30 more minutes of your time that you do not have to sit here and listen to this bullshit.
Five people in the pipeline.
Send it.
And then the fact that she started it off, and I'm sorry, Melissa, I got to do it to you, but come on, some stuff, come on. Just sometimes you have to understand, we're on stream here. We don't always have a lot of time. There are other people waiting, so you do have to have that courtesy. We don't want to say a prayer for your dog right now. We're not trying to make this about Melissa and her dog. This is about Nancy, okay? This is not about what's going on in your life right now, okay? We don't care about your dog. We're sorry for your loss or whatever's going on with the dog. But listen, it's about Nancy right now. We're not trying to say a prayer for your dog, but we can do that for you.
Again?
You can resend it. But we got like 4 or 5 people in the pipeline. So
Oh, okay. Well, I will go quicker then. Okay, so it's all I think I should call the FBI, honestly. This is very specific stuff. Nancy showing her rolling, and kind of mopping, but not, she said, not painting.
Goodness.
She's a very specific woman. They said she's precious, but she's very specific. And woman, we'll go quicker then. Okay,
please
so
don't do that.
it's all I think I should call the FBI, honestly.
Please
this is
don't do that. Look
very
at JLR.
specific stuff.
Look at
Nancy
JLR.
showing her roll.
See JLR's face when she mentioned she was going to call the FBI and give them this information.
It's all I think I should call the FBI, honestly. This is very specific stuff. Nancy showing her rolling, and kind of mopping, but not, she said, not painting. She's a very specific woman. They said she's precious, but she's very specific. And it made sense that it would be the roof, because that's how you do a roof. So, and they said this man worked there doing this not long before she passed. And I thought the roof was done like a year or so ago. So I AI'd it, and it said very recently, and that one of the neighbors said with the 3 hard rains they had, it would not be that pure white if it had been done a while back.
Listen, we got 40,000 tips, okay? 40,000 plus tips. 40,000 plus tips. Now, I'm going to keep it real like I've been keeping it real. There's a high likely chance that a lot of those tips are not tips. They're not tips that are going to lead us anywhere. Melissa, please do not report this to the FBI. Please. They already have enough on their hands. I don't think determining this guy's nationality, because it's completely wrong, is going to help. You know, maybe it would help. Okay, it would help. All right, let's not say that. But he's not half black. He's not mixed with black. He don't even have 1% of black. Please do not report this to the FBI. They already have enough on their hands that they have to deal with.
Just been done. So that confirmed that to me. And so she has initials. She gave her the initials, LJW. The lady told me.
She's really
she told
convinced.
a last name. I don't know if you want me to say them or not. A last name and 2 possible first names, and she also knew the middle name.
All right, so the information is going to the FBI?
Yeah, I think it should. They are watching. One of the people left to Mexico. He's done. He's gone. The other one is still there in the area, and this half African man left to Southern California. His family still lives in Arizona, in Tucson. They've lived there since the 90s. So I was kind of interested in asking Tucson a little bit, since he's lived there his whole life, about families he knows and friends he can ask of families they know, because it's just so specific. And so this guy now is waiting in Southern California while the driver, the Hispanic driver, is right there in Tucson, and they are watching. Here's the problem. They do have a fingerprint. They cannot get him through the DNA system right now. He has not committed a crime in this country, even though he has in another country, and I'm not sure if it's Africa. She didn't say which country, but he used a
She said she's not sure if it's Africa.
different name. He used an alias name, so they're not able to connect. So that is why there is such a holdup. But they do have a fingerprint. And she said this will get solved, and Nancy is helping. And let's see, there. If
She
there's any
really
other,
like has a lot of this figured out. This is crazy.
oh, the tattoos. He has a lot of tattoos, but he does have a wrist tattoo, and there's tribal lines.
Another thing, especially if this guy was black, you probably wouldn't even be able to see that tattoo. So if he was black, trust me, you're not going to see that tattoo. I don't have the tattoos, but trust me, if I got a tattoo, you wouldn't be able to see that tattoo. It wouldn't. I look real light on camera because I'm surrounded by lights, but trust me, in the dark, I'm just going to put it this way. You might have not even seen a perp in that video if it was me at that door at nighttime. It would have been way tougher to see me during that time. Just saying. No, I'm just joking. But still, with the tattoo part, they don't really show up very well on people my skin color, especially when you're dark as I am. But yeah.
African tribal lines and a star on his wrist. That was from Nancy as well.
All right,
Well, we gotta keep it moving. I
get on out of
appreciate
here.
your time.
All right. You aren't taking me seriously, are you?
No, we just got a lot of people in the pipeline. We got like 5 people waiting.
Okay, because I think this is.
No, we just got people in the queue. We just got people waiting. Come on, JLR. You could have told her you weren't buying it, at the very least. He definitely wasn't buying it.
That was
All right.
from Nancy as well.
Well, we got to keep it moving. I appreciate your time.
All right. You aren't taking me seriously, are you?
No, we just got a lot of people in the pipeline. We got like 5 people waiting.
Okay, because I think this is like fascinating information. So I'm going to call him, probably sit for 3 days, but I'm giving this to the FBI because I think this is too important not to share. I mean, it could be true. It could be not true, but it could be true.
All right. Keep me informed. Thank
I
you.
will. Thank you. Have a great
I
night.
like the way he handled that, though, very well. He said keep him informed and kind of just moved on. He handled it very well because... But this is just an example to the reason why I'm saying be careful where you get your facts and information. This is the type of stuff that wouldn't help this investigation. We already went on a whole long thing about the ransom. You know, you see how long that took for us to get past it. It definitely very much so interfered with this investigation by a long shot. And then we all know, and I blame Harvey too. He played a big role. Harvey from TMZ played a big role in interfering in this investigation. If anyone's interfered with this investigation the most, it was the ransom and Harvey putting it out there. You know, I think that really mixed things up. I honestly think if Harvey from TMZ never put out that ransom thing that was going on top of all the other things that he got, well, not the other things, on top of the person that was caught in, I think, where was he at? California, Kalila. You know, because that was the person who turned out to be the person that was saying that they knew where the perp was at, and they knew who took Nancy, and they saw her at the border and whatnot. I believe that was him. That's the type of stuff we don't need. We don't need that, you know, because it already prolonged everything. And like I said, I blame Harvey a lot because he should have he didn't have to put that out. There was no need for Harvey from TMZ to put that out. And he really should be taking responsibility and accountability for doing that because it was wrong. And then he said he was going to stop at one point, and then he just kept going. It just kept going. He never stopped. It's like he realized what he was doing, but he didn't care.
Bye-bye. All right, we got Taylor Chambers, we got Crystal, we got Dom C, we got Lawless.
We're on.
I
Hello.
think
Can
there
you
was
hear
another
us?
lady on here that was talking as well. I think they mentioned Monk. Monk's been growing on here. If you haven't watched Monk Intrigue, he's pretty good. He's had some interesting things to say. Although somebody made a comment earlier that was kind of true. They said that he kind of goes in circles. I guess I could agree with that. He doesn't really know. He's investigating it like all of us. Everyone that's been in tune to this investigation, it's been going on for 50 days, for crying out loud. So it's kind of hard not to go in circles. What I'm saying is I think mostly everybody goes in circles with this. We don't know what to think. We don't know what to think, man.
Savannah, psycho, complete psychopath.
Gabrielle
That did
Banks,
this, you know, and
with
anyways,
the
a psychopath.
$2 super
Who
chat.
does this to Greg?
We getting rich, baby.
Good train, but
Aren't you?
hello.
Hello,
How are
Lala.
you?
Great,
I-
and you're at the Crime Hoppers, aren't you?
Yes, I called you last week with the cuckoo train, but I was just kidding around with you. I wanted to bring you some laughs. We're a serious group on TikTok. We have been watching you since the beginning of this case. We've been following Nancy Guthrie case since day one. We're very invested in this.
Joanne says, have they investigated the emo construction house site for, I think she meant to say, well, 4 houses down. Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday. There was a guy who was talking about that, and I was playing the video. Yeah, there's a house about 4 houses down from Nancy's, which is, and I was talking about this earlier today too. It's vacant. You know, somebody lives there, but they don't live there right now. I don't think that they've really investigated that house. From what I discovered, I didn't see anything as far as them really investigating the house. I think they're investigating it, but they haven't got that far. I think that's why the reason why they're going door to door, seeing if anybody's seen anything. But I think from what I heard, they are looking at that abandoned home, just 4 houses down. But I don't know how far they've gotten into it. That's the thing. I credit folk that are trying, like Monk Intrigue. Yeah, I mean, that dude's he's doing good. He didn't make a video today, but you know, we are always looking for him to make another video because they're pretty interesting.
I know we've reached out to you guys several times and have talked to you guys a few times.
Serious
so
group of
excited
TikTok.
to
Yeah,
get on
Tiger,
the
what
phone
up,
with
man?
you
Big welcome,
again.
by the way.
Nice. Join the cuckoo train.
Shout out my member Tiger here.
Cuckoo train? Is it the cuckoo train? Join the cuckoo train. All right. Can you hear? Uh-oh. Why is everyone having problems with their mic? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Weird.
That is weird.
I really can't
maybe it's
believe
only like
today
some
is
people.
day 50.
Restart.
All right, try. I want to hear from Crime Hoppers. By the way, folks, we got about 30 minutes, and we're going to hear from a special coming up. Bring Her Home, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Bring Her Home will be premiering on News 4 Tucson. I got it up in the stream here.
Yeah, I wanted to
in
watch
about
that,
a
so I'm
half
trying to
hour.
find that in
Hello.
this video here real
Hi,
quick.
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I could hear you.
Can you hear me?
I could hear you.
All right.
How
Yeah.
are you? So I reached out to you guys last week. I was kidding around. I saw JLR was a little down. He was like,
I think we
do
might
I
have watched
stay?
that
Do I
already,
go?
actually.
So I was joking around with you with the whole cuckoo train thing. I had a couple of like crazy theories because who doesn't have a couple of crazy theories with
Yeah, I
this
think we
whole
watched the special.
thing? Like you can't throw anything out. Like anything is quite possible. But I did bring up something to you, JLR, and I don't know if you actually got the chance to watch it. Have you watched Monk's
50 days late. Yeah, I agree, Joanne.
I did not.
For sure.
I did not watch it. And I know that you sent it.
I did.
Just again about that. You know, one of the things I struggle with is so much stuff coming. Sometimes
I know. You're busy.
You miss it, yeah.
You're
You
a
know
very
what?
busy guy.
I saw his email. I saw his email one day. It just scrolls.
Yeah, he saw the email. It's like literally 10,000 emails.
I can only imagine.
She's not buying that. She still wanted JLR to check that email. She is not buying that at all.
can only imagine. But he has connected a lot of the characters of this case together.
I think we watched that special. I just want to
everyone
skip
that's
up real
in your
quick because I don't really want to listen to all his callers that he had today. I think I had one more person I did want to watch. Let me just exit out of this. But we watched it yesterday. I don't know if I still have it. Oh yeah, I think it's here. No, that's Monk. No, I might have took it down. Never mind. But we had watched it just yesterday when he was talking about the abandoned house that was 4 houses down. We don't get too much news on the weekends. A lot of the people like Nancy Grace, I don't think that they work on weekends.
Solve cases. I would say.
I really like the kid from TMZ. I think he always has some pretty interesting things to say. For that kid, I don't know his name though. I can't remember what his name was. Y'all let me know his name if you remember his name.
And at the very least, somebody connected to the case in custody. You know, Jackson, that's the silver bullet question. I mean, if we can answer that, that's the one everybody wants to know. I would tell you that Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, got away with his crimes for years. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, got away with his crimes for years, and yet he was kidnapping women, vulnerable women, off the streets of Seattle in plain view of the police and doing this. So it is not that unlikely to think that somebody could get away with this, but it all boils down to kind of what you and I were talking at the beginning. It really determines how easy it's going to be to find this person is to make sure we have the crime correct. And I don't think we...
So I'm looking to see if we can find anything on that vacant home down the way, guys. We might have to watch that video again.
And that's going to determine the type of people you look for, the type of suspects, you know, different skill sets, if you follow what I'm saying. But if I'm looking for a burglar in my days when I was doing the work, when I'm looking for a burglar, we knew people that did burglary. We knew what kind of skills they did. We know what kind of things they do, where they hung out, what their tool set would look like, what type of...
Yeah, it's crazy. Joseph Morris was the only person to talk about that vacant home. I don't recall anyone else talking about that vacant home down the way. Wow.
They would take before. People are creatures of habit.
And you got to be careful with Joseph Morris because he says a lot of stuff that don't be true sometimes too. So.
And they're asking for a...
So crazy.
Called the terrorism planning cycle. So when I look at this, the first thing we have to...
So I'm going to show this just real quick briefly. We're not going to watch the whole thing because I just watched this the other day. So if you want to watch it, you can go to my last live. But I want it because I don't have pictures of the vacant home, but he shows the pictures of the vacant home. And I meant to go by Nancy's today, but I didn't have time because I had stuff to do. But I want to go by there tomorrow and do a live for like an hour or two. And I wanted to go by to look at this home that Joseph is talking about.
For septic excavation on a vacant 1-acre property on Camino Maraval. The owners live in Texas and they are nowhere around. The house sits empty while it's being renovated, which means nobody is checking who shows up after dark. That excavation job would have taken weeks. To a month to finish, putting a crew of workers on the street right in the window leading up to January 31st, 2026. Now let's rewind to the nights that changed everything. So 2 law enforcement sources confirm a masked man stepped onto Nancy's porch on January 11th. No weapon, no backpack, no gun, just looking around. Police have also zeroed in on January 24th, specifically requesting neighbor video from that night too. Both visits fell on weekends, which points straight to someone who had a regular day job during the week. 7 days later, Nancy was...
Yeah, that sounds logical to me that this person definitely had a day job That sounds logical so far, but I mean, I'm not going to listen to this video. Go to the last live if you want to see it. He just talks about the house that's right down the way. And I don't know if this is the vacant home. I'm guessing this is the vacant home that he's talking about. If that's it, we'll figure it out regardless, I think. But if this is the vacant home, that'll be the one I'm looking for when I go down there tomorrow to check it out. But yeah, I don't know. Let me see, because he shows the toppers. Let me see. It's like a sky view, a drone view, maybe. I don't know.
So I just found the vacant property, which is right here. And then you just go up this street right up here, and you eventually reach Nancy's home, which is right here. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4 houses down. And I believe Nancy was abducted around 2:30 in the morning. So the chances of her being carried down the street and like bed sheets without anyone noticing seems like it could be possible. And, you know, maybe they just wrapped her in those bed sheets to prevent her from bleeding, because I do believe that the blood spots went all the way down to the end of the road. Because if I'm remembering correctly, there was also a neighbor's dog barking at the time Nancy disappeared. So maybe they were witnessing Nancy being carried down the street to this vacant lot.
One thing I wanted to mention, guys, I had saw something that I thought was interesting as well, was Nancy's garage. So at one point in time, they had her garage door open, right? What is this in the garage, by the way? You know, like, I don't understand what this is, and it's nothing to be, you know, it's nothing crazy, guys. It's nothing crazy. But I was looking, you know, at a video when they had Nancy's garage door open, and it looks like to me there's like these yellow bags or something in there. I don't know what that is. What the heck is Nancy doing with yellow bags? And I was just curious if anybody had any idea what those are. Maybe are those trash bags? I can't really tell what those are. But I found that kind of interesting, just seeing the amount of bags that they had. Nancy's sheet was missing from her house, though, because he's talking about Nancy being carried out wrapped in a sheet. Her sheets were missing, so I think that's very logical to whatever's going on for sure. I think she was definitely very much so taken out in a sheet or wrapped of some sort of way. I wonder what he brought in that bag that he came. I think it was clothes, because if that guy isn't the actual person in the video that abducted Nancy, then
Come to terms with.
there's no doubt in my mind that is like a change of clothes in the bag. I think that's a change of clothes. I think it would be like a change of clothes and you know, a change of shoes. Because I still believe that they were taken in a vehicle. I don't think that they walked down the street with Nancy wrapped in a sheet, carrying her, taking her back to an abandoned home. Or a vacant home is how they phrased it. But it's possible. But I still think she was taken by car, because the blood droplets go all the way out to the stairs almost. So not to say that she couldn't have been carried through there, but I think they're for sure pulled up in a car and took off. I think they took her to Mexico. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to play this quick video real quick. And then I'm probably gonna hop off for the night, because I'm about done. And there's really not too much to really elaborate on, but let me pull it up. But I want to take this down first. One second, chat. me pull this back up.
With
I like this
burglary
kid
gone
from,
wrong, or was it
TMZ.
never a burglary? And then to your point, Jack, and once we start addressing that the way we should, that'll start telling us what kind of person should we be looking for, because somebody who does targeted kidnappings and targeted abductions is a different skill set and a different methodology and a different tradecraft than somebody who's only there to commit burglary.
We had a former FBI special agent on, Jen Coffindaffer, a couple weeks ago, who gave us a play-by-play of how the criminals that did this entered the house and the kind of methodology they used. It seemed that she was intimating that more than one person was involved, that this was not a burglary gone wrong, and that there was even perhaps entry from the back door. You've clearly studied this case extensively, and what I'm wondering is, can you give us your own play-by-play with the information at hand of what you think happened?
Yeah, Jackson, good question, because that's what everything starts from, right? The house is the event generator. So the first thing we have to understand, was it a burglary that got wrong, or was it never a burglary? And then when I'm looking at this, if I'm showing up to the scene, then I look for a burglary. If it's a burglary that's gone wrong, then the biggest question you have to ask, because remember, humans don't behave better under stress. They behave worse under stress. You shoot worse, you drive worse, you run worse. When you think about this, somebody who enters a house whose intention was burglary, their intention was theft, what conditions had to exist inside the house for a burglar to think that kidnapping somebody and taking them out of the house was less risky than just fleeing? In so many cases, I will tell you, I never had a case. There was sometimes violence, but I never had a case in a burglary to where somebody kidnapped the person, even though it's at night. They thought the house, even if they broke into the house knowing the homeowner was in there, they didn't want the confrontation. That's why they break in at night. That's why they break in while people are asleep. That's why they try and find an unlocked door, because an unlocked door is easier to get into than breaking out the glass. I look at that and I say, what are the indicators that would tell you that it was a burglary gone wrong? Well, then you'd have to look at signals of theft. Were items staged inside the house to be taken? We know that the offender, we can see the video, had a backpack, typical what burglars do, want to keep their hands free. They use the bite light, again, keep their hands free. Same thing for auto burglars. They're basically set the same way. One's breaking into a car, one's breaking into a house. So I would look for what signals existed inside the house to tell me that this was a burglary gone wrong. Then you would have to show me, then why would that offender think that taking a body and increasing my risk, because then this does lead into, at some point there is, I believe, a second person involved, and I'll get to that on my other side of the binary question. Oh, and here's one other thing, Jackson, a lot of people aren't talking about. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about this, because a lot of people don't think through the whole thing. When I ask you, like, how do you get out of bed in the morning? It sounds like a weird question, but trust me, it's going to lead somewhere. How do you get out of bed in the morning?
Well, to that I'd say I'd pull the blanket off of me and I'd put my feet on the ground and I'd kind of sit on the bed for a second before standing up.
That's exactly right. That's what people do. A lot of say, I get out of bed, I take the blanket. Now, let's assume it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're in a house all by yourself and somebody decides that they want to abduct you. They're going to reach in and grab you out of your bed. Do you think the blanket and everything's going to be folded back the same way?
No.
What we're looking for are indicators. What does even the bedroom look like? Does the bed show indications that she got up and out of bed and had a confrontation with somebody, or was she taken from her bed? So that gets into, was it a targeted abduction? Then with the targeted abduction, again, you look for three things: entry, forced, consensual, or pre-staged. In this case, we know it was not pre-staged because we see the offender on the outside of the home. Then the question becomes, was it forced or consensual? Chances are she wouldn't open the door at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's human behavior.
Yeah,
so
I don't know why some people say that she opened the door. I disagree. I don't think Nancy would have opened that door. And I think it's great due to the fact that she has a screen door, so she could kind of see who's at her front door. And I think anybody checking their door, answering their door, is going to turn on their porch light, especially in the middle of the night. I don't think somebody's going to open the door for someone that they can't see. And especially, it's going to be suspicious to anyone if you're knocking on their door at 2 a.m. and they're not expecting you. The only way I think she would have opened her door is if it was somebody's voice that she was used to hearing, or she made a mistake and thought it was someone else and they came there pretending to be that person. And, that would only, be the only reason why I would believe she opened the door. But I don't think she did. I think they went through the back door.
But much of the drone video that flies around, there's no indications that there was forced entry. But here's the thing. She's 84 years old, lives in an area where very little crime, if any. Look, I'm pretty security conscious. I left my garage door open all night. And it's like, man, I forgot I did that. Is it unrealistic to think that an 84-year-old woman who just gets into a habit, thinks that her doors are locked, may have left the door open? That would have facilitated an entry into the home to make it easy. But that standpoint to finish the other part of the binary, if they got into the home and it was a targeted abduction, I used to tell our teams a lot of times, especially our tactical teams, don't kick down the door. See if the door's open first. Why kick down the door when it's already unlocked? We don't need to do that. So they could have gotten in that way if it was a targeted abduction. Then what we have is an 84-year-old woman, cardiac compromise, being waken up violently at 2 o'clock in the morning. We know that there's blood. The question is, what does the blood look like inside the house? Is it a blood trail, which then leads you can reasonably infer that there's a second person because there's no pooling of blood. That person is not laying there. So there has to be then somebody that you call because we know the blood. And I went out and visited the house. I was actually out in Tucson. I took a look on the ground. The blood stops at the end of that walkway. You come down a set of steps, come out to the driveway. It ends right there. So it seems likely that this is a targeted abduction because how unlikely is it? We know from the timeline at 2:12 was when there was a motion inside the house is what they're saying, according to the sheriff's timeline. 2:28, her pacemaker did not ping. So we have a 16-minute window. In 16 minutes, somebody who was there to commit burglary instead decides I'm going to kidnap somebody and now has to arrange all of the infrastructure, the transportation, the logistics, get somebody to come over. That becomes less tenuous. If the only thing supporting that pillar is narrative, once you take the narrative away, does that structural beam still stand? No. So over time, I started with the binary. I'm leading more and more towards it's a targeted abduction that went wrong.
And when you say went wrong, what are the plethora of things, if you could give us an example, that could have happened? I mean, clearly, like you said, she had pre-existing health issues, right? So it could have been respiratory failure, heart failure, or maybe it was something that the abductors did to her. What goes through your mind when you think this could have gone wrong?
What we know for a fact is that it's Nancy Guthrie's blood. We don't know how the blood got there. We don't know the mechanism of injury. So we don't know, did she cut herself on the way out of the bedroom? Was she assaulted? But in any event, you have an 84-year-old woman with a cardiac condition, woken up, I would say, violently.
Does anybody have any idea what they would have possibly used for her to, go unconscious so they could prevent her from yelling? Because I think if anybody's being abducted, they're going to yell. So what could they possibly have done to keep her quiet? And when somebody says something went wrong, are they referring to, someone going in there and doing more than they should have done, like beating the living hell out of Nancy? I mean, I don't understand what really could have went wrong. It's not difficult to restrain an 84-year-old lady. I mean, she's not a small lady at all. She definitely can walk, but she has a bunch of disabilities, not just one, several disabilities. And if she had a heart attack, they wouldn't need to put their hands on her in any way. They wouldn't physically need to really do anything besides remove her from the house. Now, I could understand that theory where they went in and, they scared the crap out of her to the point where she had a heart attack. And then, they decided to remove her body thinking that they were going to be charged with murder because they provoked her to have a heart attack. That's possible because, we've all heard situations like that where it wasn't someone's intent and the worst thing possible happens to them, when it wasn't their intention to kill them. But I don't see that, because she was bleeding. If you have a heart attack when I went in the dang place, or that heart attack happened in the process of them physically harming Nancy, there's many things that could have happened. But as far as it going wrong to where they're not in control, I would argue that wouldn't have been an issue. Even if it was one guy, I don't think that it would have been tough for them to be in control of the situation at all. But that's just my theory.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, taken from her home. So there's control on the other side. So when I look at that, here's my concern. I know a lot of people that, and trust, I get that everybody says, well, we hope she's still alive. They acted as though it's a missing person. But at some point, I started saying the quiet part out loud because it informs how you do your investigation. It informs what the public thinks. In fact, with you guys, you're reporting on it. What the public is told is the way they perceive the case. There's things you go through. You go through things that are known. You go through things that are inferred. You go through things that are assumed, right? We have to be, and then amplified. The media amplifies. We take what is known, then we infer something, then we assume it's true, and then the media amplifies it. If the media, and not saying that they're doing it intentionally, but if you amplify something that's incorrect, now I'm looking for a missing person. What I said was we should start treating this as a no-body homicide because that changes your search tactics, that changes what you communicate to the public. I have no information other than just experience, but just reasoning it out to say that the reason that we haven't caught anybody, it's because these two actors, if Nancy died within a short amount of time of when she was taken control of, they would have realized that it was less risky to dispose of the body. Now, we're not looking for a concealed clandestine gravesite. It's very hard. I've been out in that area, that part of the desert. It's very tough to dig. So we're looking for a body dump, an open gravesite, or we're looking for a concealed gravesite. But the other thing too, I would just leave with you, Jackson, think about this, that the reward now is up to what, $1.3 million. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, you and I just met, but I would dime you out for $50,000. You know, now you put 1.2 million on the table. If that doesn't move the needle, what does that tell you? I would say it's a very small group of people, no less than one, and I'd say no more, obviously no less than one, but no more than two involved in this. Because if one person knows a secret and they tell somebody, it's no longer a secret. So I would say no more than two people involved because 1.2 million hasn't moved the needle yet.
Interesting. So you think it's no more than two people. And it almost sounds like what you're intimating is that, you know, and what actually Savannah has intimated herself on social media is that Nancy is unfortunately no longer with us. So it's obviously, the prospect of it being a homicide is obviously very tragic. But since, you know, let's move forward and operate under the assumption that she has passed away. I want to put you in a hypothetical. The Guthrie family has hired you as a detective to operate, I don't know the legality behind this, independently from the FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Office. What tactics are you utilizing to your advantage to find where Nancy Guthrie went?
So I'm going to make an assumption here. I'm going to assume that I have access to everything law enforcement has, you know, from an information standpoint. So okay. If I have the same thing, the example I would give you, and I know you guys have covered it, Rex Sherman, the Long Island serial killer, Gilgo Beach. That case was not solved with new evidence. That case was solved with evidence they already had, and it took a fresh set of eyes to go back in. So I think this is the point in the case where you need to take a step back and say, park your pride at the door, park your ego at the door. Let's bring in new people and take a fresh set of eyes. I would operate as that fresh set of eyes. I would have no assumptions. I wouldn't let the media narrative, I wouldn't let the sheriff's narrative or anybody's narrative influence me. You deconstruct it, crime reconstructed. You deconstruct it from a first principle standpoint back into its foundational pieces. You fix the structural problems and then you rebuild back up. I would look at technical things, which I know they're doing, cell site location information. I would start looking at another thing. It's called AdTech. It's a company I work with called Fog Data. We do a lot of this type of analysis where we look at, for example, you've got a phone. I know everybody does. You've got apps that run on this phone, regardless of the carrier. Those apps collect data because the end user license agreement says you agree to allow us to collect that data if I'm the app maker. A lot of people don't read the fine print, but it's in there. Well, we can aggregate those and look at signals. So I did a whole signals analysis around Nancy's house looking for things. The other thing you do is you do an egress analysis. You look at, there are only so many ways to get to a main road when you leave Nancy's house. And I've been out there, like I said, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. You turn it upside down, those roads go all over the place, but at some point they get back to structure.
Superfly says she's been dead since day one. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. Yeah, I agree. I think she was killed right then and there. And it may not have been their intentions to kill her right away. And if they did kill her after, I don't know if that's worse. I just think it's sad either way. But yeah, I think she's been gone since day one, whether they killed her right then and there or afterwards. But I think Nancy was gone that very day. I don't know what, if it was a targeted abduction, which I think it was, I don't know what would have led up to them actually trying to keep her. We all know the ransom was bogus. It wasn't valid pertaining to the abduction with Nancy. I think it had nothing to do with that at all. So, she's 150 pounds, but dead weight, a lot of people say it wouldn't be easy. I agree, Chase, but at the same time, you put your adrenaline in effect. We do got to consider that, you you are stronger when your adrenaline is flowing. And not only that, you know, I say it too. You know, when it's dead weight, somebody weighs 150 pounds, I double that. And I say, you know, it feels like 300 pounds. You know, they definitely feel a lot more than the actual weight that they are when you're dealing with dead weight. But, you know, 150 pounds, bench pressing 150 pounds, bench pressing 150 pounds is super, super easy. That's nothing hard for a full grown man. I don't think that's difficult. Picking somebody up and holding them over your shoulders is not very difficult. Getting them there is, I think, the most difficult part, but I think it was more than one person. And if it was, that makes it 10 times easier for them to remove her body from the home. I just don't really see what went really wrong for it to lead up to them, you know, having to remove her from the home if something went wrong, which, like I said, I don't think something went wrong. I think they were there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to take Nancy, you know. Handsome says life goes on, people stay strong. Yeah, I agree. I agree. At some point, we do got to go on. We do got to move on. It's just a tough situation, and it's a bothering situation because not so much of the mistakes, just the fact that there's this guy out there and we're not able to track him down, and it feels like it's day by day slipping through the cracks. Like he's day by day just getting away with this. You know, I feel like we're a lot of us are starting to lose hope. We're starting to lose hope in this investigation. And unfortunately, I think we're all convinced that Nancy's no longer with us. But I think a lot of us will feel a lot safer. There's a lot of crazy criminals out there that we have to worry about that we don't know about. But I think it would comfort the community of the foothills and everyone else down here, just period, in all of Tucson, if this guy was caught, you know. And it's going to be even more scary if this person strikes again. You know, what are we going to do if he strikes again and he's still just as difficult to catch? But I've said it before, the perp is winning, man. He's definitely winning right now. It's definitely been in his favor since day one. It seems like he's been called an amateur, but it seems like there's been really a lot of setups that lead us to dead ends, and it's quite frustrating because, you know, I just feel like with the technology that we have, it shouldn't be very hard to track this guy down and find him. And for all we know, we're highly hopeful, but I don't think so. But for all we know, the FBI has something cooked up. They got their suspect. They're just trying to gather enough information that's going to tie this person to this crime and whoever else that, you know, might have, you know, potentially gone with this perp that we see in that surveillance video. But I can't call it at this point. I really can't. I'm really leaning in more of the direction that I feel like this guy has gotten away with it, and it's really turning into a cold case. But I'm highly hopeful that things turn around and we discover that this guy's going to be caught at some point. And a lot of the interviews that we see amongst the YouTube channels here, especially the ones on a bigger level than most, we see a lot of former FBIs and former detectives sharing their thoughts, how they would handle it, you know, what they think about the case. The main thing I hear them say that, you know, they all have the same answer to is the fact that this guy's going to be caught. You know, they'll ask, you know, do you think that this guy will be caught? And most of them all say yes. They all say yes, which of course brings my confidence up, but I still believe they're missing something here. I feel like I just don't understand what's giving them that confidence that this guy will be caught, you know, because from what I've seen so far in this investigation, he's done everything right. I feel like the perp really hasn't made very many mistakes, if he made any at all. I really can't think of a really good mistake that he made that's going to lead us up to finding him besides the DNA test that we're waiting for, which I feel like is going to turn out to be another dead end. you know, and it would just be nice to know, you know, I don't think it would hurt the investigation if the FBI would give us just a small little update on whether or not maybe the turnaround time that's left as far as us determining what it's going to be leading up to this genealogy test, like, you know, perhaps is it moving in the right direction, you know, or are we still waiting for certain results? Just a little bit of what's going on would be great. But all we could do is stay patient, keep praying for Nancy and, you know, the Guthrie family alone and everyone else that was truly impacted by this investigation going on. Guys, I will tune in tomorrow. We'll cover some more Nancy Guthrie. I appreciate everyone stopping by and tuning in with me tonight. If I didn't get to your chat tonight, I'm sorry. Drop a comment below. I definitely like to read the comments and try to reply to some of them. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the video. It does help the algorithm of this stream, as well as putting it out there for others to discover this video here. This is your boy YouTube Juice, guys. I will talk to y'all tomorrow.